When we sleep at night with our eyes closed, dreaming or in deep rest, can be viewed as what it could be called the first state of consciousness, the lowest level of consciousness. And this is where the body is at rest. Our five senses relative to the external world pretty much turn off. Yes, we may still hear sounds, we may still smell a dangerous smell that would wake us up, things like that, but our body has shut down, and now we're completely in the mind, and we're dreaming. And or even the mind will shut off as well, and there will be simply a body deep at rest with little or no mind activity whatsoever. At the bottom of this first state is where deep rest happens. But as you move from that bottom to the top of this first state of consciousness, then the mind starts to engage again. And this is when we dream. Now we're seeing images. We have random dreams. We seem to exist in a three-dimensional dream world, but it's not the physical world. It's in the mind. It is a dream state in the mind. And again, when you examine this is also an amazing phenomenon, this dreaming. But then when you wake up in the morning and you pass from one dimension, the dimension of the first state of consciousness, to the second state of consciousness, to the second dimension of awareness, now your three-dimensional world is the physical world of the earth, and you move around in three-dimensional space. And now your mind can do more than dream. You can talk, you can read, you can perceive, you can understand, and you can interact. Nevertheless, at the bottom of this second state, you're still very close to the top of the first state. And that means that this is where we are daydreaming. We're awake, our eyes are open, but the mind is daydreaming. And it's not dissimilar to what happens to us at night. And it's not dissimilar in this regard that our mind shuts down. It operates now just at a bare minimum, but we can be walking down the street and we have enough wherewithal physically to see where we're going, and we can avoid other people, avoid cars and objects. And yet our vision and our hearing and our senses are dimmed, and our mind is now dreaming. We are walking down the street in a dream. We're imagining our future. We are imagining our past. We are imagining interactions with people. We are, in effect, dreaming while in this lower realm of this second state. But as we move up, as our attention and our awareness moves up in this second state of consciousness, now we're not so much dreaming. We can really focus on things. We can accomplish an intricate task. We can make a decision. We can plan. We can talk at a very high intellectual level about ideas and concepts. And now the mind can be fully engaged as we exist in this three-dimensional physical world. Meanwhile, throughout this experience of the first state of consciousness and this second state of consciousness, there is this background feeling of I, of me. And this is who we imagine, it's who we believe ourselves to be, is this feeling of I. We consider our identity as this person. And we operate from there, and we view other people the same way. And human beings are walking around and interacting and assuming that they themselves are this identity of I, and that other people are an identity of their own version of I, and that this is what existence is about. There's another realm above these first two, and this could be called, and is called in some teachings, the third state of consciousness, or the third dimension of awareness. At the top reaches of the second state of consciousness, the mind is fully engaged. You know what's going on pretty much around you, but now you can start to sometimes have a clearer realization, a wordless, without the five senses, there's just an awareness. You exist, you're here. This realization, however, is so subtle that we don't recognize it as being distinct from the feeling of I, or from the experience we have as in our thoughts and in our emotions and in our senses as a body and as a mind. This subtle, wordless awareness, we don't recognize it as being something different. It doesn't recognize itself as being something distinct. But this is what many teachings call our true nature, or some teachings call it essence. And it is right at the top end of the second state, bordering what is called the third state or third dimension of awareness. And this is where there's just this awareness. This awareness can extend farther up and into the depths of the third state of consciousness, where it is farther and farther removed from the feeling of I. It's farther and farther removed from the mind and from the body, and from all activities of dreaming, walking, talking, eating, accomplishing tasks. It can realize itself more and more purely as awareness. And just as the mind in the second state of consciousness can witness dreaming in the first state of consciousness, so this awareness in the third state of consciousness can witness the mind in the second state, and the body, of course. This awareness can witness you walking around, talking, living your life, doing things. And yet it is not the identity. It's not associating itself as a feeling of identity with you. It's this larger awareness. And in simple form, it is simply the realization you exist here on earth, in this form right now as a human being, and amidst the mystery of creation. And this awareness, which characterizes this third state of consciousness, or a higher state of awareness, higher dimension of awareness, can expand farther and farther, and it can then begin to realize its own purity of being. And at that point, it's beginning to cross the threshold into what is called the fourth state of consciousness, or fourth dimension of awareness. And this is even the farther remove of seeing all of your life and all of your feeling of being a person, and even all of the life of creation. Seeing it the same way that awareness sees the mind, and the same way that the mind sees dreaming, can see all of life and all of existence and all of creation as a lower dimension, as phenomena existing in and limited to a lower dimension of reality. It would be something like awareness passing from the dream world and now stepping out of the dream world and realizing this dream world is just that, just a dream world. And now awareness is in the mind. It feels that it is the mind looking at the dream world. And then it could remove itself even farther. It's now stepping out of the mind as well, the entire mind, the realm of thoughts and emotions and feelings. And it's experiencing itself as a witness, the sense of being the witness to the mind. And then awareness removing itself even farther. It's pulled away from dreaming. It's pulled away from the mind. It's pulled away from its sense of being a witness or a feeling of I, beyond and behind the mind altogether. And then removing itself even farther from even experiencing itself as awareness, to recognizing, cognizing itself as the source of awareness.